I'd first like to complain to the organizing committee here about the photograph of myself that's shown here, because it looks a bit unfortunate, because we're supposed to be developing equipment to make people happy while they're exercising, and I must admit I didn't look particularly happy. But I have to confess, really to start here, that I grew up in England, and when we had sports at school, we had rugby, and I hated it. And you could tell that because my kit was as clean at the end of the game as it was at the beginning. And in summer we had cricket, which I enjoyed particularly because you could sit around most of the time waiting to take a turn. So, by way of introduction, I'm very pleased that my life has taken me into a situation where I'm promoting sport and trying to convince people to do more exercise and to do more sport. But seriously, I think most of you will be aware and will know about outdoor gyms, as we call them. Our company, we've been in the market for this for about 15 years. Now, can you tell me where I can take the next time? Typically, yeah. Is this it? Thank you. Use the mouse. Okay. Now, most of you will also be aware of the types of activities that there are worldwide. Very typically, of course, in this part of the world, people in parks, we heard about that yesterday. And in Europe, or in other parts of the world, in fact, all over the world, different ways of approaching sports. And what our idea really is to try to explain here our experience in the last years, because we feel very much at home with the topics that were discussed here yesterday and today, and the talks that we've listened to, because it's really basically a lot of aspects of what we're trying to do. So, in a way, what we're doing is a kind of pioneer work over the last 15 years, as I've explained here on the sheet. The company was founded in 2005, my wife and myself was also here, and we've been able to set up more than 1,250 Playfit locations in Germany and other countries. Mainly in public parks, as I've said, sports facilities, and so on. And the question is, what are we doing here? The idea is not to try to promote Playfit equipment as such, but to try to share, and even build bridges, as you mentioned before, to share the experience that we've had, and possibly to be able to give other members here some input, impulse into how to develop and structure their own outdoor gyms, as far as they've not had any big experience in this. So really, there's more to outdoor gyms than the sum of their parts, because it's not a matter of just installing the equipment and seeing what happens. We've discussed and we've talked to each other about all of these issues right here. And so what we're doing really also fits into the Mission 2030. And I'm now pitching one of the slides that Professor Biddle had yesterday, because I feel that what we're doing is connecting the circles that we saw on the lecture yesterday, because there is a connection between sport, exercise, and physical activity. And our work building bridges is not just a matter of selling bits of metal to put in the ground, but really as a potential, as a tool for promoting public health and for building bridges, as I've said before. And what we've done in that respect is also to look at partnerships and networks in order to promote the idea of fitness, of exercise, of sport, to try to get people who are not active, people who are not doing enough, or perhaps not able to do enough, or people people like me who are basically couch potatoes to try to do more things. So over the years, we've established contacts and networks, and for example, by way of example, we had involvement in two or three studies in Germany. In the federal land of Hessen, the social ministry commissioned a report about physical activity and old age. This was, our involvement was in a park in the city of Hanau. And a group of about 60 or 70 elderly people, aged from 60 to even 90, took part over a period of months. They were checked physically before and afterwards at work. And there were advantages and developments in their physical capabilities over this period. Nothing very spectacular, but at least enough to be measured. But more important than that, there were also the aspects of the communication during the weekly training sessions that took place there. For example, a lot of the people didn't know each other when they started. So when they started doing this for a few weeks, they got to know each other better. The location of our equipment was right next to a gymnasium, a school, and the younger kids would be there when the group started. And at the beginning they were annoyed because they had to leave the equipment so that the training could start. But after a few weeks, they got to know each other better, and they actually got together and met and enjoyed exercising together. And some of the people who were training there said this is a really nice kind of session because it reminded of the old village square where people would meet and natter and have a situation where they would come back to again and again. We did a similar report together with the ministry in Hessen, or rather it was commissioned by the ministry, of training exercises, training equipment in a situation, in a rehab situation for people suffering from depression. And they also saw that there were benefits and positive effects of training and exercising regularly, not just on equipment like this, but in general. So this is also a known fact. So that got us to think, well, there must be other aspects for this type of equipment that we could look into. And what we're considering for the future is to possibly have studies like this in connection with other ailments, let's say, or addictions and things like this, so that one can try to look at various different groups and to assess the benefits of such simple training exercises for such groups. So that's another area that we're involved in. So this matter of bridge building and sharing is very important because some of the sectors are very autonomous or traditionally don't want to be involved with each other, especially sometimes sports clubs. They feel they want to have a network for themselves and don't want to get involved in what's going on outside. But this is changing also. So this is what we're looking at also, is to try with a simple system of training to build bridges. That's what we're looking at. And so we have network partners, such as TAFISA, of course, and in Germany there are two other organizations which are involved with sports clubs, sports associations, and also high school sports. So I'm mentioning this because as a manufacturer, we're looking at ways to promote the training. We're not selling just the equipment, we're trying to sell the idea of exercise. And again, I repeat, what we're doing, what we've heard here, the last couple of days has been extremely interesting exactly in that point, from that point of view. I should say we're a Hamburg-based company, and so Hamburg is also an active city. We're very proud of that. But I should also add that we've been active in Hamburg for quite a few years already before Hamburg became an active city, so we're very happy that now Hamburg is an active city, and we want to contribute to that project as well. And on the other hand, our office in Hamburg is in the Portuguese sector. I don't know if people that know Hamburg, mainly in the Portuguese sector, and so we can also look into the future. And I would like to invite you personally to visit us in Hamburg, because we have some very nice coffee shops and so on. But anyway, coming back to this, it's a matter of getting networks together to work together and to try to promote the activity. What we've also been involved in is to try to find funding for projects. A lot of municipalities, they would love to have training equipment such as this, or other facilities, of course, and they just lack the funding. And so we've also considered that it's important for us to try to be involved in that kind of activity also, and where possible to assist in that. And we did a very interesting project this year. My wife and I took a very long road trip from Hamburg to Shanghai. It was an organized trip. And apart from the personal enjoyment of this, we both said, well, we have to have a benefit for it. So what we decided is we talked to a lot of companies that we're involved with and asked them to support, not the trip, but to support an outdoor gym, in this case in the city of Lübeck, a project which is going to be installed next year. So in this way, with projects such as this, you can get people to be motivated to contribute to projects like this. And I mentioned that in a way of CSR, that this is something that we're also actively interested in doing. In the longer term, there are also other things that we're doing. We've already had a kind of coaching program to help trainers on site to understand the different types of training activities you can do on a particular machine. Now, most of the machines are self-explanatory. 1 minute, okay, I'll keep it short. Most of the machines are self-explanatory, but you need to do a bit more, so we have a coaching program. We're also setting up a trainer network like next year, and we're also introducing an iOS and Android app. So, to cut a long story short, what we're saying is there's a lot more to outdoor gyms than just installing them in parks and leaving them to their own devices. It's an opportunity for a lot of stakeholders to work together to use such equipment as a focus for training on the equipment, around the equipment, and in a setting which is beneficial to the municipality, to the town in which this setting takes place. And I think that's it then.